psychologist and child protection expert Mark Williams-Thomas, who's in the studio, as you can see. Firstly, about the case in Scotland. The children as young as 3 months old. People are going to be really shocked at just how young these victims were.
Absolutely, and we're seeing younger age children now who are being abused, and certainly when I was in the police I was investigating children, probably the youngest we were seeing was 5 or 6. They are now seeing days, weeks, month-old babies, and the number of reasons for that is firstly that children don't talk at that age, and therefore they can get away with the abuse far greater. But we are seeing far more images now being changed around, being swapped around, and a lot of this through file sharing networks, which is indeed what the Scottish pair were doing.
How difficult do you think the investigation will have been, given this electronic web of abuse, which is how the judge described it?
Well, by and large, the internet is not policed. There are certain police forces who are being fairly proactive in it, but in general it isn't policed. And what that enables offenders to do is to communicate. The internet has created an opportunity for people who are deviant in their mind and their thoughts to communicate with each other. Whereas before they tended to operate in isolation, now they're tending to operate far more as groups together, because networks are being set up and they just share and swap information and pictures with each other. I interviewed an offender the other day, 1 million images he had. So we're talking now of huge amounts of images swapping back and forth and being shared.
Wasn't CEOPS, the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre, set up by the government to tackle just this problem?
No, what CEOPS are in education. There is 2 elements to this. There firstly is education, and then there's obviously the proactive element, which is the police investigations. Now that still sits with individual police forces. CEOP are very good in their education, and they need to continue to do that education, because we need to educate not only children, but we need to educate parents, because parents more often than not are able to stop their children, educate, talk to their children. What we need to do, and what I've been calling for, is a national task force. We now need to set up a national task force to go on and start to police the internet, because the internet is not policed, and offenders know this.
I mean, it would be a full-time job for, quite a few people, an organisation to police the internet.
Well, I've spent the last 18 months with the Metropolitan Police Paedophile Unit, who are actually the only paedophile unit in the country that is proactively tasking, and they are going online into social networking sites and talking to offenders. We need to roll that out. We need to get every police force doing that, and if necessary, and I think we do, we need a coordinated task force to lead it.
Can I ask you about the development in the Vanessa George case? What do you make of the fact that she is now revealing who her victims were?
Well, I think it's very significant, and I've dealt with many paedophiles, and I think the reason she's talking about it is because the judge has told her that she should, and clearly that will assist in her sentencing, whatever sentence she gets. Vanessa George had the opportunity at the very early stages to start disclosing who she'd abused. She decided she wouldn't do that. She didn't cooperate in the early stages at all. She's now only talking about it, I believe, in order to reduce her sentence. Let's not forget, and lots of people have said she was led on. This was an individual who took the decision to abuse children in her care. She was sexually gratified by the abuse that she did. She may well have additionally been gratified because of the person that she was abusing for, but she got sexual gratification herself from it.
Mark Williams-Thomas, thank you very much for sharing your views with us.